Welcome back to the beach. I'm Roxanne, and this is part 2 of shelling Lido Key Beach shell piles. If you haven't seen part 1, I encourage you to view that first. I shared how I became a sheller and found my first Junonia shell. Here in part 2, the excitement continues, pulling out yet another Junonia, along with other beautiful finds, and I'll share with you all the shells that I found over 4 days at Lido Key Beach. Just sitting here in the area that I cleared out so I can get to all those goodies on the bottom. And I was sure hoping to find another Junonia. 2 days in a row, why not a third? I met a lot of nice people at Lido, stirring up conversations with anybody in hearing distance and learning, different tips, and you're exchanging stuff and what shells you're finding. And there were lots of shell celebrations when someone found a special shell. This lady comes over and she says, "Excuse me, I just wanted to say hi, and I've been admiring you for the past few days." And I was like, okay. She had been staying in either the condos or the hotel that we were shuffling and digging through shells in front of. And she's just like, "You have been really committed, and I needed to come over and just say hello." So I was a little embarrassed, but I was completely dedicated to what I was doing. Lido Beach for me, I'm on the East Coast. It's 3 hours away. So I wanted to make sure I utilized all of my time over there for sure. A lightning whelk. I did give a few of these away to another sheller who was really looking for whelks. She loved them. A lace murex. Great piece of coral here. I did not find that many varieties of coral. This is pretty much the only type I found. A Florida crown conch with a worm shell stuck in its aperture. Beautiful spire swirl. Okay, you ready for this? Okay. So we're digging. Look, it's right there. I know. Let's hope it's whole. Yay! It's full! Yes, it's a whole one! Yay! I just could not believe it. A second intact Junonia besides the tip being broken. Absolutely amazing. This was our last day at Lido Beach, which was 2 weeks after the last time we were here. The terrain had definitely flattened out since the last time we were here. Did not spend a lot of time digging, just a little bit at first, and spent most of the day finding the shells in the water. Just using a simple garden shovel here, and I did have a garden rake. But since then, I have found an amazing tool that I put in my shell bag all the time, and it is a hand digger and hoe combo. This shuffles through the shells easier than anything that I have found so far. I always keep it in my shell bag. You never know when you have a good rack line to go through. Just wanted to pass that along. A little kitten paw shell. A jingle shell. I never know what to do with those, but I definitely want to use them for something. An Atlantic oyster drill. More coral. A Florida prickly cockle. Lettered olive shell. And a spiny jewel box. Going to put this handful of beach candy in my shell bag that I actually made myself. A nice pattern on this calico scallop and some pretty orange scallops beneath it. Have a button shell right to the left of that worm shell, followed by a turban and a ribbed cantharus. A small shark-eyed moon snail, and a yellow Florida cone. Looking back at this now, I actually think I found a golden olive, but I'm not 100% sure because it still has the lettering on it. And if it is a golden olive, it's a pretty special find. We have a couple bubble shells and a banded tulip. It's amazing how these bubble shells make it up here not broken because they're very thin. A handful of goodies. I'm especially liking that chestnut turban on the top right there. At this point, I was done digging through shells and was just finding shells rolling around in the water. Do you see it? It's really pretty. Right there. A beautiful colored moon snail. I like to refer to these as Gaudionauticas. Absolutely stunning. I find these down in Palm Beach County on my side of the coast, the East Coast, and they are not as detailed and colorful. They're more muted, but they're still pretty, but they are different, so they're nice to find here. We have another chestnut turban. And another turban. I sure did pick up a lot of those. Loving this worm shell when they have the little point on them like that. That's so cool. I love it. I really racked up my collection with those worm shells. A nutmeg. We have a few whelks here, loving the middle dark one, and a pretty bay scallop. Love the color. Gorgeous handful of shells. That banded tulip in the middle right there is so pretty. I was actually looking for shells where the jetty rocks were, and it was a little wedged. And I pulled it out and I couldn't believe how beautiful it was, but I could tell from the water because it was really bright. Here is a nice close-up of that one. The prettiest banded tulip that I have found so far at that time. We had an amazing 4 days at Lido Beach finding beautiful shells, and here are the shells that I found.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any uploads. Till next time, happy shelling, and I leave you with this.